Hey everybody, this is Barry from Series 4. Today I'm going to show you kind of a quick overview about the subframe drop involved with doing a GT3 sway bar or other sway bar installation into that guy, the 718 Cayman. There's some information about people saying you need to remove the subframe, I've heard, and that's not correct. You don't need to remove the subframe, you just drop it. And I think by the end of this video you'll find that it's not that scary. You can do it yourself. The tools involved are really minimal. And if you can get the car to a safe working height and you have said tools, I think you'll see that this is something that you can definitely tackle yourself. So, jumping right in. All right, here is what we need for the tools. I've got them kind of laid out here in this box. This is all you need. It's really kind of a short list. This and a pair of needle nose pliers will do it for you. I'm using the electric stuff where I can. If you don't have that, that's perfectly fine. Just use ratchets. And you might want to use a breaker bar for some of the subframe bolts because they're on there a little tight. We've got a 1/2 inch electric impact, and then we've got a 3/8 ratchet. It's not an impact, I don't believe. And then regular 3/8 ratchet, no big deal. A T30, that's going to be used for the bottom of the factory drop link in combination with the 16 millimeter combo wrench. Then we have a T25 next to that. That's going to be used for the belly pan screws, and there's like 1,000 of them. There's a ton of them. Then we have a 10 millimeter. That's attached to a 1/4 to 3/8 adapter because we're using 3/8 ratcheting pieces here. And for sockets, for the rest of them, we've got an 18, a 16, and a 15. Combo wrenches are 15 and 16. You also notice right here we have the front tow hooks. So if you ever want to do those, I would say the best way to do it is to plan doing it at the same time as a sway bar if you're going to do that, because you have all the access in the world here, the bolts are already out, it just makes sense. It'll make life easier for you if you just do it at the same time. Now, you also have some Tarot drop links. We're using Tarot on this one per customer's request and because they gave them to me to install. I've had great luck with them. I found that a lot of these drop links are mostly the same. So take that for what it's worth. That's just my opinion. I've installed a lot of different types in here. Now, if you need these Tarot ones or these FabSpeed mounts, you can contact me at Series 4. I can get you all those and much, much more. All sorts of tasty goodies for your Porsche and also exotic if you like. So here is the front belly pan, just hanging out on the floor for illustration purposes. Now here is the rear one. Those are the only two you need to take off. You don't need to take off the side ones because you have plenty of wiggle room to get these things out. Now that is the cover that goes on the bottom of the fuel tank. It's not bolted in or anything like that. It just sits in between these straps. It kind of lays out right there. Now these little straps, they have a little hook to them, and I'll show you where those go in a minute. And there is also this right here. You don't need to unbolt it. When you're under the car, you'll see that it has bolts in it. You just need to undo the electrical connector and you're good to go. Now this guy has a handful of bolts and a couple nuts on it that make this whole piece fall off. This fits behind the subframe, and now for the subframe. Here we go. We are halfway through, so this gives you a good picture of what you're looking at. Now with that structure piece I just showed you on the floor, it would fit right in this area. Now these guys, they have 10 millimeter bolts that go through them. Now they fit through that piece on the floor. That keeps these nice and secure. And the other end that keeps this nice and secure is this mount. This is another 10 millimeter. This is going to go through your front subframe. It has a locating piece up top right here that has the other end of this has a notch in it, so you know where it goes. And some people may look at this and cringe and say, oh no, what are you doing? You're binding up this. Well, I'm really not, because look at that. Look at all that room for activities. See, it's got all this play in it because it does articulate with the suspension. It's made to do that. And you just need to undo your connectors. One of these per side. You see the other one up here. Now this 10 millimeter bolt you access from the top, of course, and that comes off. Here is that connector I was just talking about with the piece on the floor. You just undo that. It's the type that you squeeze on the side to release it. Now, for the other tubes up front, you've got these guys right here. It takes a 10 mil right through the center on both of them. And this is the type where you use your needle nose to squeeze to release to get them to go through. And they go through right here. The little squeezy guys go right here. Nice technical term, right? 10 mil goes right here. And you'll see there is another set right here. So once those are done, these tubes are happy to stay where they are in the car. Now you'll notice that the steering rack is still attached top side because the only thing that holds it onto the steering or the subframe is a 15 millimeter bolt right here. And I'm talking about the head size. And right here. And they go through right there. Now this is where that little hook piece fits. It fits in right here like that, and you can get a flat head and kind of bend it out and release it, and it'll come out. Let's see here. We've got the caps for the sway bar. The bushings go in there, and the new bushings are extremely tight. It's going to be compression fit to get those on there. Now, moving on, we've got control arms still attached, of course, because you don't need to detach them. Drop links undone. The new sway bar's sitting in its home there. And I think that's pretty much it. The only other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you detach your ducts from this arm here. Because if you don't detach that from here, you've got your tie rod, your steering tie rod, that's going to be holding this up because they're attached together. And you do want that extra clearance because you're going to be taking the sway bar and you're going to be moving it forward through the subframe. And you're going to be taking the new sway bar and moving it this way through the subframe and attaching it that way. So let's go under the car and look at what we've got for kind of the spread of stuff that's disconnected. And you can see what's missing bolt-wise, and that'll give you a good idea. So if you need to pause the video here and kind of take notes, this would be a great time to do it. I'm going to pan to the other side now. And look at that, same thing. One other tip. So this little piece, it's going to be in your way. It's going to be in the way of this. The subframe is going to be pulling on this pretty hard, and in fact it won't come out if you don't undo these two screws, one right here and one right here. And what you can do is you can just kind of bend it out of the way. It is very flexible. You're not going to damage anything, so don't worry about that. So once you have that done, if I'm not missing anything, this should all come out and drop down very easily, and you'll have you know, a pretty drama-free installation of the sway bar. It might take you a little extra time than some other cars, of course, that don't need to do this, but that's the way it's designed, so that's what we got to do. Well, that's going to do it for this one. I hope this wasn't a total waste of your time and you took some value out of it. If you did, give me a like. And if this is something you want to do yourself, absolutely, go for it. If not, then don't forget your local indie mechanic, and we'll see you on the next one.